Okay. So then hearing that and then understanding Keep It Fact from seeing it and also taking part before, like if you go on the Keep It Facts website right now, there's three goals: promote access to education, support to foster families and foster agencies, and support to Sierra Leoneans in need. Right?
Okay, you've done your research. I like that.
Of course, I'm not going to just turn up here unprepared. And really, I got involved in Keep It Facts 2 years ago on I think that was your fourth fundraising ride to Brussels.
We went to watch Chelsea against Aston Villa. It was a Carling Cup, well, whatever it's called,
Yeah.
the League Cup semi-final. And Kais was like, "Oh, you can sell it to Ryan. He might be interested."
Well, and I loved it because one, I love cycling, but two, it was so well put together, and like you and Oliver, like the way that organizing the people who came to it, it was an amazing 3 days, and you ended up hitting your target before you even left.
Yeah,
But
no, yeah.
and so, but from doing my research, I see that Keep It Facts has been going now for almost 10 years.
Yeah,
Is that about right? So
it is.
if we're looking at Keep It Facts, we're reaching 10 years of doing this, raising money, giving back to the community. You know, what was the origin? Did you start Keep It Facts while you were in university, when you had finished university and you were working, and kind of how was that initial starting on your own? Was it by yourself? Was it with other people?
So well, I mean, so I grew up in Manchester and Wales, and we had, well, we didn't really have any family around. Occasionally, we had like uncles visits, or we'd go to London and meet like family friends who, we're told are cousins but not cousins. I think the first time I went to Sierra Leone I was 16 or 15, and it was like a revelation. It was my first time in Africa, so I didn't know what to expect. And yeah, it was surprising, but it was also really nice to be around family.
Mm.
Have so many people happy to see you, and just to see you for who you are for no reason at all. And this was like a great feeling. It was also quite sad as well to see like so many of my own relatives or people my age, and I just saw that like, well, this is going to be their life, or they're not going to have the opportunity to do what I'm going to do, or the opportunities I have. So I always, from coming away, I always had in my mind that I wanted to help, but not in the way that my parents were helping. Um, but that was like, I guess, when the seed was planted. Once I got out of uni, my first job was in financial services, and I was working as a contractor. And I set up my own limited company to facilitate payments. So I had an accountant. And around that time, I'm not sure what triggered it, but I asked accountants, "Oh, how easy is it to set up a charity?" And he's like, "Well, you can. I mean," and explain some things to me. He's like, "Well, you have to have a purpose, essentially." And my mum was always like a champion for education and equality and stuff like this. If I have like a sense of justice, I guess I've got it from my mum. And then I was like, okay, then I'm going to have an organization which helps girls to get education.
That's amazing.
So it
And
started off like and also as well, I mean, it sounds like really benevolent and everything, but like this was when I was living in London. I was having a good time, and it was fun as well to organize like fundraisers. Like the rides came on much later. Initially, we used to throw parties and things
okay.
like this, and yeah, we had a good time raising money.
Yeah, good excuse. Well, you putting the things you like together and making your world fun for for a good reason.
And,
So
and this is one of the things which I liked about the ride. And I'm really glad that you said like it was a good 3 days. Like it's really cool, I think, that you can have such a good time doing things and at the same time like make a positive impact for people.
yeah, absolutely. And I think what struck me not only about the ride itself, but was the people involved in that. And I'm big into community. I'm trying to create communities, and what you have at Keep It Facts is a community of people. Not only that will go on the ride with you, but that actually help you with the day-to-day running of Keep It Facts. Is that right? Like, it's not just you behind the scenes now. There's other people also helping that. So that's one side of the stuff. And then, as you said, you kind of showed that tie earlier to, you know, Africap and the way that it kind of links. So I want to take it over there and kind of understand the cycling thing. You said the cycling started later in the Keep It Facts journey, and that initially, well, Africap itself is for style, but it is cycling caps because you worn it, because you wear it. So I just want to understand how you've kind of enjoyed going into this kind of space, or if you have, or if there's challenges, or what keeps you going.
Yeah, it's an interesting one again. I think there's definitely a lot of things which I've taken from Keep It Facts, which I've applied to Africap. I mean, one of the most difficult parts of Keep It Facts is the fundraising, raising money. And by the time I think you came in or you participated in the rides was like when we really had hit that like sleep period where things were going really well. Corona has unfortunately impacted that, and we're now again reevaluating and looking how we can do things, because we can't. We might be able to do right next year, but let's see.
Yeah.
So like Africap was, before I got into cycling, I've always liked cycling caps. So I think they're quite cool. You look at Mars Blackman and certain types of actors or characters who pioneered the cycling caps. So I used to wear them. Then I started having my own made. Then when I saw there's the business opportunity, I was like, oh, this is something I could probably do. I've raised money for charity. I think I've got a good product. It's unique. I could raise money doing it there. It's not been easy. I mean, these things never are. It has been enjoyable. Like, I think the parts of it I enjoy the most are the sort of artistic points. So like the photography, creating the website, and doing some of the posts, or at least planning the posts. I'm working with a photographer at the moment who I grew up with, Elijah, who like takes really good photos. And like these are the bits I enjoy the most. And then going to Keep It Facts, one of the fundraisers we used to go to Africa at Spitalfields, and we used to trade. I say trade. We were always donated or granted a stall to promote the charity there.
Okay.
And this was something I struggled with in the beginning, stopping people and be like, hey, can I have 5 minutes of your time, doing this stuff. But this is a skill which I really learned from Keep It Facts, which I apply now with Africap. I often, like when I'm cycling in London, I often have a couple of caps with me. If I see a cyclist at a red light and they're wearing a cap, I'll stop them and be like, hey, I see you like cycling caps. I run cycling caps. I've made a lot of sales that way as well. So yeah, this definitely helped me. I think there's always transferable skills, whether you're managing something, whether it's for benevolent cause like Keep It Facts, or not for profit, which I can then transfer into Africap, which is for profit.
No, that's it's so cool. And you mentioned before, early on your challenges of kind of not being maybe confident to go and say that. Were there other challenges that you've been able to, that you've learned through Keep It Facts, that you're now taking forward in a business sense?
Yeah, I have to think. I mean, probably. I can't think of.
Because one thing I see on your Africap thing that I really like is kind of your consistency and the way that you bring in not just what you're doing, but the wider community. It's like I'm almost learning. I'm almost learning about the cycling culture from going onto Africap Apparel on Instagram, and and I'm getting to also see like the Sierra Leone kind of industry, and that's where I think it goes beyond what your hats are, but well, the bigger story behind it, because cycling is so much Tour de France, older white male, so to see like a cycling team in Sierra Leone, awesome. To see other people wearing these cycling caps and going on cycling rides, that's so cool. And that's the other things I'm learning, and I'm just wondering, is that like natural for you that you're sharing that content?
I think it's natural. I didn't, when I set up the company, I didn't necessarily think, oh yeah, I'm going to use it as a platform to promote cycling in Sierra Leone. I also have been learning a lot about cycling through Africap and through social media. And I do have to say, actually, I went to an event recently hosted by Rafa promoting diversity in cycling called For the Culture. And I met a lot of these people virtually over the year that the business has formed, doing their own thing. And it was really nice to see these people in person. But these are all people who I've learned from as well. And even like the cycling scene in Sierra Leone, it's not something I was really aware of until I started Africap. So.
And that's something I'm learning from you in this conversation is the way you're kind of, you're not afraid to put your foot forward without knowing too much, like without feeling that you have to be an expert in it before it.
Yeah.
Like, you know, cycling's not been your whole life before, but it's an interest that, and you continue to learn. You know, charities, yeah, it's an interest you continue to learn, and you jump in there, and obviously because you have the skills and the natural wherewithal to put it together, you kind of learn throughout. And I think that's something I really like to highlight here, is because so often we see on social media or whatever, and you think, God, I need to be an expert at this.
Yeah.
You know, because your charity is so organised, and when you look onto the Africa, it also, if you go on the website, looks very organised, and it looks like you know how to suddenly set it up, and it's a business fully fledging already.
Definitely, I've been learning on the job. You learn. I mean, I think one meme I saw on Instagram, or I've seen somewhere on social media, is that people never post their failures; they only post their successes. And it's definitely true. But you only learn from failures or from making mistakes. If you're always doing well, you won't learn anything. So,
what's good people? If you enjoyed that, then listen to the full episode over in your favourite podcast streaming service. Or for more clips, just continue to explore the channel. Keep it easy.